Welcome to Rick Dancer TV. I am so excited for you guys to be here. We're at Agrarian Ale just outside of Coburg, and we've been wanting to come here for a long time. Why? Because they're not a big mass producer. They still make the beer the way they do in Europe. Just small farms, everything's grown here. We'll tell you more about that in a few minutes. Also, Lockmead Farms. They produce the best ice cream, the best milk products, and we did a video series that's unlike anything we've done before. I think you're gonna like that. We're gonna show you a couple of those tonight. And on a more serious note, a letter that a woman wrote to her children after she survived years and years of domestic violence. This is In the Silence. This is from Women's Space, and you're really gonna be touched by this story. All that and more coming up. And this is Debbie Tilley, and she is actually the owner of the farm here where Agrarian Ale is, and your sons are the Agrarian Ale guys.
That's right.
The brew guys. So tell me, how did this start out for you and your husband and your family?
Well, we moved here back in the summer of '85, and we found this place to rent, and we moved in here the winter of '85, and been here ever since. And I always did the farmer's market. I came here actually the summer of '85 and did my first farmer's market in Eugene. Back then, I grew everlasting flowers and ornamental produce, and after about 15 years, dried flowers died and went away. Nobody wanted them anymore.
What is that like for you to now know that your boys have taken this farm and created a very amazing brewery here that people are talking all over the state about this place?
Well, it was my dream to bring the boys back to the farm. They grew up, went away to college, and came back, and keeping the farm in the family and keeping it viable.
That's what moms want, isn't it?
Yeah.
To have
and
your boys
happy.
nearby.
Do what they love. They're creating a product in these tough times that they can, be proud of and get out there and market and actually, hopefully, be profitable with.
It's all about community, isn't it?
It is.
You taught them well.
The driving philosophy behind the creation of this business was to keep the family farm alive and well and thriving into the next generation. I moved out to Oregon in 2006. I've been homebrewing the whole time with a passion for organic ingredients and wild harvested herbs and homegrown hops. So when I met the Tilley boys and came out to this farm for the first time, it was kind of a dream come true.
I've always wanted to farm, and so for me personally, this is all about continuing the family farm operation. We both got the bug for brewing beer, and Nate really took it with a gusto.
It quickly got up to making 20 gallons at a time. I set up my garage to be like this little brew house. The garage slowly transformed, and after a while there were 9 taps in there and a nitro tap, and it was my own little home sort of pub. And it seemed very simple to take that to the next level. My dad proposed the idea of using the barn. We hadn't had the thought to put a brewery out here in this sort of rural setting. It's taken a lot to develop, but it already had that potential to be a perfect spot for brewing beer.
And we basically started in planting hops and restoring this facility about 7 years ago, and just been working diligently on that.
We kind of have a historical take on our brewing, and so a big aspect of that is growing as much as we can to go into the beer.
We grow all our own hops and any other bittering agents that we would use, different herbs, flowers, other types of spices. We grow all of those 100%. Any grains that we can use unmalted, we're also growing here.
Growing our ingredients that go into the beer really connects us directly to the whole process of brewing.
We have no beers that are always continually brewed exactly the same year-round. Our seasonal releases will definitely reflect changes in our environment. not only the season and what it is and what you want to drink in that season, but also the way that we brew it. The community around us that is part of Agrarian grows stronger and stronger all the time.
I want to try and create the micro-processing facilities specific to the brewing industry so that local farmers interested in growing hops and grains can come here, get it processed, and get it right back out to the community that they grow their crops in.
We're really excited about the hop harvest and bringing in more people than we ever have to come and pick our hops with their hands and get their hands in our beers.
So this is the field beer, huh?
Field beer, yes.
Thank you, Ben. This is a nice place you have out here.
Yeah.
I notice you have food too. What's
Yes.
the menu?
Today we've got 4 different offerings, a collection of ingredients from the woods.
Notice all the beer stuff here. Where do you cook the food?
Want to go see?
Yes.
So this is our outdoor farm kitchen.
Wow.
We started by putting in the wood-fired earth and cob oven.
How hot is this stove? You just build a fire in there and use what it makes, or what?
It'll get up to 600-700 degrees if we wanted to do that. We wanted to place the kitchen, the processing of the food right here next to where we grow all the food. So all of our ingredients are usually sourced from this farm.
This is pretty cool. You guys need any hands? Or, well, I've only got one available one because this fielder beer is delicious. This is what you need when you go camping. A whole setup here. And bacon. Is that bacon?
That's bacon.
Oh my God, can I stay here? Beer and bacon, come on, Rick. I still don't know how you're gonna do the face on that pumpkin. I think you're doing,
Goes in your face. That's the whole.
huh?
This is Ben Tilley, and he is the owner of Agrarian Ales. You're not into the big production here. This is what?
No, we basically make beer in a barn on a farm with good organic grains, and all our hops and herbs are grown right outside the brewery windows.
Everything in Agrarian is a seasonal beer.
Yeah, we are a true seasonal brewery from beginning to end.
What do you like about that?
It keeps it exciting.
And we're here with Steve Anderson with the American Home Brewers Association. You also work for Falling Sky, one of 2 local places where people can go, home brewers can go to get help.
Correct.
And supplies.
Yes, we supply ingredients, knowledge, get people squared away, and give them the tools to make the best product they can, and hopefully something that they're proud of.
You also have a nice brewery there too, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I like Falling Sky. You got good beer. Tell me, home brewers, why is this becoming so popular, do you think?
I think some of it has to do with cost. Another faction of it is making something that you can put your stamp on that brings people joy and happiness. Just basically why commercial breweries brew. And they love what they do. It's almost like cooking in a way. For me, I personally brew a lot of beer and I don't consume a lot. But when somebody's drinking a product I make, lights them up, they're smiling, having a good time, that's all I need.
How hard is it to get involved and really do homebrew? It takes time, doesn't it?
It does, it does. It takes, from the day you make it to the day you consume it, it's generally about a month. But the actual labor is just all on the front end.
And don't expect wonders from the first or second or third batch.
Correct. You're going to make mistakes. And what's important is you learn from them. The biggest mistake people make is in sanitation, not properly sanitizing their equipment. But there's easy solutions to that. And we've all made mistakes, myself included. It's what you do with them. You learn from them, move on, and before you know it, you'll be making phenomenal beer.
What's the cost generally, like to do it right? I don't want to buy the worst equipment. What's the general average that I'm going to have to pay to get into this?
So for the initial equipment purchase, ballpark would be about $200. The average cost of ingredients is about $35, and that's ingredients for 5 gallons worth of beer. I think that's another caveat to why people get into it is $35 for 5 gallons of beer, of good beer. And you can't go to the store, buy 5 gallons worth of good beer and spend $35. So that was a big motivating factor for me to get into brewing, because I love craft beer, but a lot of the stuff I like costs a lot of money. So, well, hell, I can just make it myself and make it taste similar to this commercial example. And I love it.
Do you think a lot of the people that get into this have dreams of being the next Falling Sky or the next Agrarian or Nicosi?
To a point, yes. It's not a lateral transfer going from homebrew over to the commercial side. A lot of people think that, but in reality, there's a steep learning curve. And for me, I appreciate not having the risk that a commercial brewery would have. If they have a batch that's unacceptable, that's loss for them. For me, it's also loss, but it's on a smaller scale where it's not going to break the bank if this beer sucks.
All right, Steve, so I can just see it now. I think it's going to be Dancer's beer. Can you see it? I can see Rick Dancer TV with a beer.
Made by the Anderson House of Ales.